Picture this, 1960s Britain, the Beatles, miniskirts, and a good old-fashioned train robbery. We're diving headfirst into one of the most audacious heists in history, the Great Train Robbery of 1963. It was a time of change, a time of rebellion, and a time when a group of lads decided to stick it to the man in the most daring way imaginable. The year is 1963, and the world is on the brink of change. But in the heart of Britain, a group of men are plotting something far more audacious than a cultural revolution. They're after cold, hard cash. Buckle up, because we're about to take you on a wild ride through the twists and turns of this legendary heist. We're talking about serious cash, folks. These weren't your average petty thieves, they were after the big score. This train, the Glasgow-London Royal Mail, wasn't carrying your average letters and postcards. Oh no, it was a treasure trove on wheels, stuffed to the brim with bags upon bags of cash. The sheer audacity of targeting a Royal Mail train, the backbone of British communication and commerce, sent shockwaves through the nation. It was a direct challenge to the establishment, a two-fingered salute to the very idea of order and security. A motley crew of ambitious crooks. Led by the infamous Bruce Reynolds, this wasn't just a group of thugs, it was a team of specialists, each with their own unique set of skills. You had your safecrackers, your drivers, your inside men, and of course the charismatic rogue Ronnie Biggs. They were the Robin Hoods of their time, except they kept the loot for themselves. These were men who lived on the edge, who thrived on the thrill of the gamble. This motley crew was about to rewrite the rules of the game, and the whole world was watching. The genesis of a daring plan. For the Great Train Robbery, that whisper began in the smoke-filled backrooms of London's pubs, where men like Bruce Reynolds, a charismatic career criminal, held court. The target? The night train from Glasgow to London, a lumbering behemoth known to carry millions in used banknotes every trip. It was a target that would make even the most seasoned criminal salivate, a prize that promised untold riches and legendary status. It was about sticking it to the man, about proving that even the most seemingly impenetrable systems could be cracked wide open by a group of determined individuals. Pulling off a heist of this magnitude required more than just ambition. It required a crew, a team of specialists, each with their own unique set of skills and a shared thirst for the ultimate score. Reynolds knew he couldn't do it alone. Enter a colourful cast of characters, expert safecrackers like Roger, Caudry drivers like Roy James, and of course the charismatic Ronnie Biggs. Each member of the gang was carefully chosen, their skills and personalities meticulously assessed by Reynolds. These men were about to embark on a journey that would change their lives forever, cementing their names in the annals of criminal history. The success of the Great Train Robbery hinged on meticulous planning, on anticipating every possible obstacle and devising a solution with military precision. The gang, under Reynolds' leadership, pored over maps, blueprints, and timetables, transforming themselves from a group of crooks into a team of strategic masterminds. They rented a secluded farmhouse, transforming it into their war room, their very own criminal headquarters. Here, they plotted every detail of the heist, from disabling the track signals to overpowering the train staff. Rehearsals were relentless, each man drilling his role to perfection. They were ready, prepared to execute their plan with clockwork precision. The date, August 8, 1963, the location, a desolate stretch of track near Bridegate Bridge. Under the cover of darkness, the gang, disguised in overalls and balaclavas, swung into action. They tampered with the trackside signals, forcing the mighty Royal Mail train to grind to a halt. The element of surprise, always a thief's best friend, was firmly on their side. The train driver, Jack Mills, blissfully unaware of the meticulously orchestrated chaos unfolding around him, reacted with professional calm. The gang, adrenaline pumping but nerves under control, stormed the train. Time was of the essence. The gang had to work quickly, efficiently, like a well-oiled machine. Their target, the high-value package car, a treasure chest on wheels, rumored to be carrying an unprecedented amount of cash. Bags of cash, each one representing a life-changing sum, were hastily transferred from the train to the waiting getaway vehicles. The sheer volume of money was staggering. They were like a team of surgeons, operating under immense pressure, each one relying on the other to perform their part flawlessly. In the midst of this high-stakes robbery, a moment of unexpected humanity emerged. Remember Jack Mills, the train driver? He was more than just a bystander caught in the crossfire. He became an unexpected participant in the unfolding drama. Mills, despite the shock of the situation, refused to be a passive victim. He resisted, a decision that ultimately led to a tragic turn of events. The robbers, taken aback by his unexpected defiance, reacted with a violence that would forever stain the legacy of the Great Train Robbery. Beneath the veneer of meticulous planning and daring execution lay a current of ruthlessness. With the loot secured and the train effectively neutralized, the gang made their escape. Just as meticulously as they had planned the robbery, they had an exit strategy worthy of a Hollywood action flick. They vanished into the night, melting away into the English countryside. Their destination? A pre-arranged hideout, a remote farmhouse where they could lie low, divide the spoils, and revel in their audacious accomplishment. The police, initially caught off guard by the sheer audacity of the crime, were left scrambling, piecing together the events of the night, determined to bring the perpetrators to justice. The investigation and the subsequent manhunt would become as gripping as the robbery itself. The audacity of the Great Train Robbery sent shockwaves through Britain. Scotland Yard, faced with one of the most audacious crimes in British history, launched a full-scale investigation. The crime scene at Bridego Bridge was swarming with police, their faces grim, their determination unwavering. Every fingerprint, every cigarette butt, every discarded piece of clothing was meticulously collected and analyzed. The media had a field day. The Great Train Robbery became a national obsession, dominating headlines and sparking endless speculation. For the gang, the net was closing in. Their carefully crafted anonymity was beginning to unravel. Among the gang members, one name rose to infamy: Ronnie Biggs. A small-time crook with a knack for self-promotion and a healthy disregard for authority, Biggs was about to become a household name, a symbol of both criminal audacity and the allure of the outlaw life. Biggs was no mastermind. In fact, his role in the robbery was relatively minor, but what he lacked in criminal sophistication, he more than made up for in charisma and a genius for self-publicity. His escape from Wandsworth Prison in 1965, scaling the wall with a rope ladder and vanishing into thin air, cemented his legendary status. He became a folk hero, a symbol of rebellion against the establishment. For Biggs, freedom tasted sweeter than he could have ever imagined. He embraced his newfound notoriety, living a life of adventure, indulgence, and constant movement. He eventually settled in Brazil, a country with no extradition treaty with the UK, where he lived openly, a celebrity fugitive, thumbing his nose at the authorities. Biggs's life on the run was a bizarre mix of high living and constant paranoia. He rubbed shoulders with celebrities, recorded a song with the Sex Pistols, and became a fixture in the international party circuit. He was a prisoner of his own making, forever tethered to the consequences of his actions. Section 4, justice delayed, not denied. The long arm of the law catches up. While Biggs enjoyed his freedom, the other gang members weren't so lucky. Most were apprehended, tried and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. The law, though initially outwitted, had a long memory. The wheels of justice grind slowly but exceedingly fine. Biggs remained elusive. He became a master of reinvention, always one step ahead. But time catches up with us all. Years of living on the edge took their toll. In 2001, failing health led Biggs to return to the UK. He voluntarily returned, knowing prison awaited him. He had outrun the law for decades, but not himself. The Great Train Robbery had come full circle. Biggs, once a symbol of criminal audacity, was now a frail old man facing the consequences. Section 1. The nation divided public opinion on the Great Train Robbery. The Great Train Robbery wasn't just a crime, it was a national event that divided public opinion, a daring heist meticulously planned and executed with almost military precision. On the one hand, there was outrage. The theft of such a large sum of money was seen as an unforgivable act. The violence inflicted upon Jack Mills fueled public anger. On the other hand, there was admiration for the audacity of the crime. The robbers, particularly Ronnie Biggs, became unlikely folk heroes. The public, it seemed, were torn. The trial of the Great Train Robbers was a media circus, a spectacle that captivated the nation. The eyes of the world were on Aylesbury, a small town thrust into the spotlight as the case unfolded. The courtroom was packed, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. The prosecution, armed with a mountain of evidence painstakingly gathered by Scotland Yard, presented a compelling case. They painted a picture of a ruthless gang, driven by greed and a callous disregard for the law. The defense, on the other hand, attempted to humanize their clients, portraying them as products of their environment, driven to desperate measures by a lack of opportunity. The jury, faced with a complex case and a mountain of evidence, deliberated for days. The tension was palpable. Finally, the verdict came in: guilty. The sentences were harsh, reflecting the severity of the crime and the public outcry that followed. The ringleaders, including Bruce Reynolds, received sentences of up to 30 years. The message was clear: crime, no matter how audacious or meticulously planned, would not go unpunished. The trial, though a legal victory, did little to quell the public debate about the robbery and its legacy. The Great Train Robbery, despite its criminal nature, has become a strangely enduring part of British culture. It's a story that has been told and retold, inspiring countless books, films, songs, and even a board game. What is it about this particular crime that continues to fascinate us? Perhaps it's the sheer audacity of it all, the David and Goliath aspect of a group of seemingly ordinary men taking on the establishment and winning, albeit temporarily. Or maybe it's the enduring appeal of the outlaw, the romantic notion of living outside the rules, even if those rules are broken. Whatever the reason, the Great Train Robbery has become more than just a historical event. It has morphed into a modern myth, a tale of daring ambition and the seductive allure of easy money. It serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most meticulously planned crimes can unravel, and that justice, though it may be delayed, is often not denied. The robbery also forced a reassessment of security measures, not just in Britain but across the world. The use of cash in transit was scrutinized, security protocols were overhauled, and the image of the impenetrable fortress that was the Royal Mail train was shattered, perhaps forever. The Great Train Robbery wasn't just about nicking a few quid, it was a story that captured the public's imagination like a jailbreak magician. It had all the ingredients of a classic thriller, daring, betrayal, larger-than-life characters, and of course, a hefty dose of loot. Part of the enduring fascination lies in our complicated relationship with the idea of the outlaw. We're drawn to stories of rogues and rebels, those who live by their own rules, even if those rules involve bending, or in this case, shattering the law. Ronnie Biggs, with his cheeky grin and knack for self-promotion, embodied this outlaw spirit. He became an unlikely anti-hero, a symbol of rebellion against the establishment. Despite his crimes, or perhaps because of them, he became a folk hero, a living embodiment of the saying, "It's not what you take, it's how you take it." The Great Train Robbery tapped into a vein of British humour, that dark, ironic sense of finding amusement in the face of adversity. It was a time when the old order was being challenged, and the audacity of the robbery, the sheer cheekiness of it all, resonated with a public yearning for something different, something exciting. The Great Train Robbery, for all its notoriety, serves as a potent reminder that actions have consequences. The robbers, though initially successful in their audacious plan, ultimately faced justice, their lives forever marked by that fateful night. The robbery also forced a reassessment of security measures, not just in Britain, but across the globe. The use of cash in transit was scrutinized, security protocols were overhauled, and the vulnerabilities of even the most seemingly secure systems were exposed. The legacy of the Great Train Robbery is a complex one. It's a story that continues to fascinate, to divide, and to spark debate about the nature of crime and punishment, the allure of the outlaw, and the price of freedom. The tracks of the past may fade, but the lessons learned from the Great Train Robbery continue to shape our world, reminding us that even in an age of increasing technological sophistication, the human element, the capacity for both great daring and great folly, remains a constant factor.